Hello, everyone. Welcome to my webinar. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm going to just show you, look at what I have. I'm going to put this in the background. So this is actually from my book, Doodle School. So isn't that fun? And for those of you who are here live, if you want a chance to win my Doodle School book, you need to go over to my Instagram. So it's Dara Thomason on Instagram. And I have a really fun giveaway. And I actually made some really fun reels. So have you been watching reels on Instagram? I know they're a little bit of a buffer. I'm a little bit addicted to them. They're really fun. And anyway, so I made some fun reels about this quilt, and I'm being featured on a Canadian group. So go over there, tell all your friends, and you can win one of my books. I haven't even got it yet. I know it's in transit. I was hoping to be able to show it to you today, but it's still in the, who knows when it's going to get here. So welcome, everyone. So good to see you all popping on. I love doing these trainings. I'm not sure for how much longer I'm going to do them because I have my podcast, and my podcast takes a lot of time and effort. So who's been watching, listening to my podcast? It's so fun. So I'll still do trainings, but maybe not as regularly. I have them until, anyways, you'll be posted. So who's been listening to my podcast? I definitely know, love it. So good. I know several of you have been listening to them that I see here. So if you haven't, you've got to go check it out. And I thought I'd have my winners this week, but something technical went wrong. My podcast, people were like, it didn't work. The recording I sent them. So we have a whole extra week. So you can get a chance to win a $100 gift card to Lisa Bonjean's Primitive Gatherings shop. So I encourage you to go over and do that. Where can you find your podcast? So you can go wherever you listen to podcasts. I myself listen to Apple podcast. And so that's what I do. And it's called Weight Loss for Quilters. Isn't that fun? So that's where you can find it. So some people listen to podcasts on Spotify. This is what, oops. So this is on my screen. So you can just download the app podcast, and let me see if I can find it for you. Anyways, so here it is. There's my podcast. That's what it looks like. So good. You're going to love it. All right. Who is ready for today? We've got some awesome stuff to go through. So I'm going to just get started. I'm going to share my screen. I really love being able to interact with you when we're doing this class. So please feel free to ask me any questions. And just before I forget, so today, starting Saturday morning, I'm hosting a pop-up group with Vanessa Christensen, who is V & Co. She's the one who creates beautiful ombre fabric. Oops, just fell out. So beautiful, gorgeous. And we actually, with the pop-up group, just so you know, we're going to, the question is how to solve any problem like a pattern. And you will actually get, for the cost of the class, it's $9, and you get a PDF of her beautiful quilt. It's called, what's it called again? Fall Bloom, I think it is. No, it's called Fall Breeze. So that's what it looks like. So if you want this pattern, you will get, not only will you get 4 days of us teaching you how to solve any problem like a pattern, but you will get this pattern PDF so you can make this gorgeous, gorgeous quilt. Isn't it beautiful? So you got to go sign up for that. You're going to love it. And I see some of you on here that have already signed up. And so tell your friends. We just love it. Okay. All right. So who's ready? I'm ready. So losing weight is the easiest part of permanent weight loss and staying at your natural weight. So I want you to know that every body, okay, and I was there with you. It's like, I could never be naturally thin. I could never be that person, but I want you to know that everybody's body wants to be naturally thin. When we're in our higher brain wants us to be as fit as possible. And so even our survival brain, in a sense, wants us to be fast and be able to like take care of ourselves. Okay, but we've got a lot of things competing for that. So I do want you to know that our brain wants to do that. Our bodies want to be at their natural thin weight. And I'm the one who's going to help you get there. Okay. And this webinar is going to be so helpful because you're going to spot why you haven't gotten there in the past. All right. So I do encourage you to turn off your phone. Oh, if you can't figure out how to register for the giveaway, all you need to do is just, there are instructions there on my website. You go to my website, it has all the instructions of how to do it. If you still can't figure it out, you know what? My assistant, Rochelle, is really, really good at helping you, and she'd be happy to guide you through. Okay. So I actually don't care how much you weigh. I really don't. And truthfully, your weight has nothing to do with your worth. I think a lot of us thought, when I'm thin, then I can be happy. It's not true. Okay. So I actually don't care how much you weigh because your worth is already set. And that is really important. So what do you actually want in life? You want to be at your natural weight. You never have to think about weight loss struggles. You never have challenges or obstacles with weight. You want to wiggle your nose and it's done. It shouldn't be hard. You want it to be easy. And I'm telling you, it can be very simple. You want it to be already done. You're like, you know what? I want it done. It can be, okay? When you have problems meeting the goals, you feel like a failure and you want to be happy generally. You never need anyone to say anything to you. You want to feel it on your own. You want to be productive in your life and you never want to doubt yourself. That's what you want. Okay, so I couldn't help but put this picture in. I thought it was just so perfect. So what categories do you fall in? Okay, so let's see. Are you group A? Do you tried and true? You tried all the diets to lose the weight, but put it back on and then some? Or are you in group B where you try a diet, have some success for a while, and then eventually it creeps back on? Or are you in group C where you give up on diets and just hope that you don't get too big by the end of your life? Okay. So just in the chat, if you're comfortable, you don't have to, but I like this to be interactive. So I want you to just kind of think, if I was to say what group I'm in, which one would it be? Okay. So what have you done to get these results? So you buy lots of programs, you're really strict with yourself, you compare yourself to others, you give yourself incentives to lose weight, you do lots of deprivation, there's some bargaining, like if you do this, then you can go buy some fabric. You start doing this fresh start approach. So recently, this has been a trend that I've been seeing with a lot of the ladies. It's like there's a lot of rebellion. You procrastinate for the right time for you to start something. You get joy from helping others, but never find your own joy. And you spend lots of money on programs and processes, and they don't work. So where are you there? So why haven't you experienced your desired result yet? So this is the problem. You rely on other people's truth. You don't work through the problems yourself. You have a lot of negative self-talk that is very destructive. And we're learning more and more about that, how our negative self-talk is truly impacting our physical health. It's not sustainable. It's not realistic. You're like, I'm going to eat like this girl in this picture. I'm going to eat this thing for the next little while. Not sustainable. Okay. That's not going to help you. You're not dealing with the actual real problem. You give up quickly. So then you don't actually figure out what's the problem. You resist, react, and avoid the issue. So that is why you haven't experienced the desired results that you want in your life. So what does that look like? So when the operating manual is focused on so we talk about the motivational triad, right? And then we have the difference between our higher brain and our lower brain. So I'm Jared Thomason, and you can see I've been able to reduce my size. This picture here was heavily edited by a photographer. I was probably almost at my heaviest here, 210 pounds, 200 pounds. This was after losing about 30 of those pounds, maybe 20 of those pounds, I think. And then this was also kind of at my heaviest. And so now this is me. And you can see me here. I've lost 50 pounds without counting calories or exercising. And the way that I did this, I'm going to share with you in this. I want you to know that the weight loss is actually the easiest part. Losing weight is pretty easy. But keeping it off is where we're really going to struggle. And this is why it's so awesome that you're here in this webinar and that you're taking this time for yourself. And I really want to congratulate you. So these are the 3 reasons why weight loss is the simplest part. So we're going to talk about traditional diets. We're going to talk about the difference between knowledge versus thinking. And then we've got the pressure valve effect. And we're going to talk about weight loss science being simple. Okay. So here we go. Traditional diets. What is the problem with a traditional diet? Well, I'll tell you. Traditional diets teach us you're not to be trusted. You're not smart enough. You better not trust your body to know if you're hungry or not. And the other thing that traditional diets teach us is that eating food has nothing to do with your emotions. So I want you to think about this for a moment. So how many diets have you tried? Put it in the chat. 10, 15, 20, keto, Weight Watchers, Noom, Jenny Craig. There's all sorts of books out there. Like I once had a book that said, eat an apple before every meal. There's so many different diets out there. If you were to guess, how many diets do you think have you been on? Right? Every diet. Weight Watchers. Okay. What else? How many people have different apps and different things? Okay. So I want you to think about that. When you look at a diet and you open up the book and you say, okay, tell me what to do. Tell me what to be. Yeah. It's teaching you that you are not to be trusted, that you don't have enough wisdom, because we generally know what would cause us to have weight loss and weight gain. Okay. So it doesn't, when I talk about eating food has nothing to do with your emotions, there's a lot to do with the way that we've been socialized and the way that we have been raised that has to do with eating, has to do with fulfilling certain emotions. And like even a birthday party, even the fact that we have a birthday, it's like birthday means we have to bring a bunch of sugar along. I want you to think, what would happen if the doctor said, there is no way, if you eat sugar, you will die. If you eat flour, you will die. And in fact, I had a friend who had a baby at the same time as I did one of my babies, and her son actually couldn't eat any food at all. If he ate anything, he could die. And he was constantly in and out of the hospital. And it could be because he would be sneaking food because he had siblings. And so that was very interesting for their family, because how do you do big celebrations when it wasn't all around food? And even for you right now, as I ask this question, what's coming up for you? Okay, so traditional diets don't take into account that so much of our life has been centered around food, and it doesn't give us the skills or tools to figure out what can we do about it. Okay, so think about the last time one of your grandkids or your kids did something, or something you did really well, and you're like, I'm going to go celebrate, and that meant Dairy Queen, right? Like I remember a dance recital, and my grandparents drove up for it, and it was so exciting, was that because I got to then go to Dairy Queen and we all got treats. Whereas the dance recital and celebrating me and my ability to learn a skill and to perform it, that should be the treat of just people being there saying, way to go. We didn't need to add a bunch of sugar to that, because what has that got to do with any of that? Okay. So I want you to think about how that's been playing in your head of going to a traditional diet for you to not be able to lose the weight. All right. The next tool that I want to talk about is the difference between knowledge versus thinking. And I always encourage you in these workshops, these trainings, to have a piece of paper and a pen. I actually would appreciate, like, if I love that you can just have like your journal and write down any thoughts that are coming to you as I have this, as I'm teaching you. And I do want to remind you that you, of course, can watch the replay. So, just take it all in. You don't have to frantically be writing things, but I do want to encourage your brain, the kind of accessing a part of your brain that's getting curious and being a learner, because I want you to tap into that so that you can help yourself out by really making change. And one of the things I'm going to challenge you at the end of this training today is I want you to take one thing from this training that you can do different in your life to get different results. Because it's interesting, I've got my mastermind ladies, we're doing a book club this afternoon, Breaking the Habit of Yourself. And one of the problems that we've run into is that if we keep doing the same thing, and we wake up on the same side of the bed and brush our teeth the same way, have the same coffee, wear the same clothes, drive to work on the same way, do the same thing all the time, rush home to eat the same foods, to watch the same program, we literally just become a robot in our own life. And so if we are always doing the same things, we're always going to have the same results. And people say, but Dara, why can't I lose weight? Or Dara, why can't I be happier? Or Dara, why can't? Because you're not changing the way you think. You're not realizing there's a difference between having knowledge of something, excuse me, and learning to think about something. So what do you actually know about weight loss? And I do want to say there's a lot of misunderstanding about weight loss out there. Like eating fat makes you fat. No, eating fat helps you lose weight. Fat doesn't actually, it doesn't spike our insulin levels. In fact, when we eat fat, that's really going to help us. And those people who haven't eaten enough fat, that's where you get into trouble. So there are a lot of misunderstandings about weight loss in the first place. Okay. So what do you know about weight loss? Why do you not always do what you know? And because even my son has a cracked kneecap. So we went for an MRI the other night and we're standing out. So we were walking to the hospital and there's some overweight doctors and overweight nurses. And he's like, that doesn't make sense, Mom. And then there were some who were smoking. And I'm like, I know we have knowledge, but we don't always follow what's going on because 95% of our thoughts are unconscious. So we're only really conscious of 5% because we have habits. So it's like, I'm sad, I want a cookie. That will make me feel better for a moment. So if we have these habits that we've created, and if we don't realize what's happening, that's why we're become robots, because we have all these habits that are running our life and we're not able to do that. So the problem is we have thinking problems, but if we don't know how to resolve our thinking problems, then we're just going to keep having the same life over and over again. So again, my pop-up group that's happening this coming week, how to solve any problem like a pattern, you are going to start learning to isolate your thoughts. So then you can put your thoughts into this formula that we're going to teach you so you can create a whole new life for yourself without changing your husband, without changing your weird kitchen, without any of that. Okay. So really, really important. And then, so let's give this, put this down as an example so that we have knowledge, white sugar and flour. So we know that they took something that was, you look about, kernel of wheat, right? It has casein around it. It has, your body has to do a lot of work to break that down. It gives you proteins, it gives you all sorts of things. And even the sugar cane, right? It's like fibrous and it's this intact plant. And what happens in the store, or sorry, not the store, in a factory, they refine that. And they take something that was complex and difficult and that our body would actually do a lot of work to process all of that. And they refine it. So when it's all finished, it's just, imagine it on your hand, you blow and it just goes everywhere. Your body doesn't have to do any work to process any of that. So now it's not really serving our body. So we have knowledge that white flour and sugar doesn't really help us. It's like a filler. So then versus thinking, I want to feel better and I don't know how to do it on my own. So we can decide if we want to go for the cinnamon buns or for the chocolate bar, for the quick hit of dopamine, or we can go into our brain, into our body, and figure out what's really going on so we can solve our problem. Okay. Now, one of the problems I see a lot of ladies doing is they're constantly researching. So when you're constantly researching, it's like you're relying on other people's truths. You don't work through the problems yourselves. You have a lot of negative self-talk. It's very destructive. This is not a sustainable way of solving your own problems, right? It's not being realistic and it's not dealing with the real problem. Okay. All right. So I just had to ask myself a question here. All right. So traditional diets, they don't help us understand what's going on. We have a difference between knowledge versus thinking. So we have knowledge and we don't are able to process that. And then, so then when we go to the constantly researching, we're learning things, but we're not learning to think about what they're actually doing for us. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Now, the third thing that I want to share with you is there's this thing called the pressure valve effect. So what that is that we want to, we say to ourselves, when I lose this weight, then I can feel good about myself. Okay. So we think that we look at other people and then we say they must be happy. Like, it's like, actually just recently I had a conversation with, or I was coaching a lady and she was talking about how she doesn't feel like she can really start living her life until she has certain things in place. Like she's going to lose the weight and then she can feel like she can give herself permission to feel good about her life. Okay. And she's wanting to be like other people because she sees those people are happier. Now, the problem is if we think we have to be a certain way to be happy, we never learn to create that happiness for ourselves. So we never learn to create our very own, we don't embrace our own uniqueness. And so we don't really grasp that we are amazing. And so we think I have to look a certain way, I have to be a certain way. And then, so you're just constantly trying to be like other people, but you never really go into your own brain and learn that. Okay. So I'm just confused a little bit. Sorry about my slides. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so now, okay, there we go. So I want you to ask yourself this question. What is the reason why we need food in the first place? So when you think about what the quilting basics are, what are they? We've got 1/4 inch seams. We need to square up our thing, like our blocks, and then we put those together and we keep squaring everything because we do actually need the quilt, even though we have like crazy, like there's like improv, there's so many different ways. There are some basics that always have to be kept in play. Like we have to have it nice and flat because as a former professional free motion, long arm quilter, women would come in with all sorts of waves and everything. Okay. It was really, really hard you couldn't actually quilt it, right? It couldn't, if it wasn't flat, it would be there would be, puckers and tucks and all that kind of stuff. So we need to make sure that, like we have the foundations impact. And when you think about this pressure valve effect of saying, I can only be a certain way if I can only be happy when. I can only feel comfortable in my body when. I can only feel good about myself when. So when you have those kinds of conditions on yourself, you're really setting yourself up for failure, because the problem is it's not realistic to think that you can create that kind of change for yourself. Now, I want to just quickly share something that I realized in my own personal journey, and this was just this weekend. So I used to think that if I was thin, my life would be better. I thought that because I had a lot of terrible, let me start again. I used to think that if I was thin, my life would be better, because being overweight meant, and I want you to think about this for yourself, I wasn't taking care of myself properly. I wasn't very smart. I wasn't a steward of my body. I didn't appreciate what I had. So I had all sorts of feelings of shame and guilt because I was overweight. I was making it mean that I was a terrible person. I wasn't being grateful because I didn't take care of myself better. I didn't have a lot of self-control. This is the stuff I was talking to myself. This is how I would speak to myself. And I'm curious about this for yourself. Can you relate? Yeah, I'm just going to check the chat. It meant I didn't honor or trust myself. I needed to hide my fat because I was so embarrassing. People would judge me. People would think less of me. I can't be proud of myself because I look so terrible. So any of you relate to that? Yeah, I'm talking your language, aren't I? Now, the thing is, and this is something that's really important, and this is why I talk about the pressure valve effect. If we don't resolve these issues and you do lose the weight, you're just going to either put the weight back on, or you're going to use another part of your life to say the exact same things about yourself. So let's say you got the weight dialed down and you got that weight down and you're feeling really good in that department. But then what happens if you're like, I should be a better quilter. I should be more productive. I should use my time better. I should be a more worthy human in the world. I should do more service. I should do this. I should do that. Because if we don't take care of the real problems, you're just going to transfer one addiction to the other. Okay. So when I talk about what are your quilting basics, I want you to think, what are the basics of a good human being? And I want to tell you that your worth is already set. So losing weight or being more productive or whatever that's just if you want to have more fun in life. It has nothing to do with it. I think that one of the things that I've realized so clearly as I've had my own weight loss journey and I've helped so many women go through it is they make being overweight, or they make any sort of they're not good enough, make it like a moral dilemma. Like, I'm a terrible human being. I should be better. Whenever you should on yourself, that's just, you're in bad territory. This is not healthy thinking territory. Okay. So I wanted to just review, why do we need calories or food? These are the only reasons we need food, you guys. We need about 12 to 1500 calories a day for breathing, digesting, etc. We need food for minerals and nutrients, which we don't get those from chocolate and words that we can't even pronounce. Those aren't helping our body. Our body doesn't know what to do with those. We need food as a form of self-care and a way to nurture ourselves. So nurture ourselves and nurture our family and those people who we love. That is literally an act of how to care for this human body that we have, and to care for other humans. So whether you've had your own children or not, literally when you prepare food for yourself, it's a way of saying, I care enough about you to chop these vegetables. I care enough about you to sit down and eat these vegetables and this meat. And I care enough about you to go to a store or to plan ahead. You're important enough for me to take care of you. Okay. Just like you would take care of a baby. It's like, I love you enough that I'm going to get some diapers and I'm going to make sure I feed you. It's a way to show that you care and love and respect that person. And that is important. Otherwise, we would have just a bar that you can just eat. Okay. It is really important for us to truly take care of our body and ourselves. And then the fourth reason that we need food, this is it. These are the only reasons we need food, is materials for growth and repair the body and to keep the immune system healthy. That's why we need food. That's it. Okay. So The topic is that, losing weight is the easiest part of permanent weight loss and staying at our natural health, as a natural weight. And it's because we need to, my timer. We need to, traditional diets, we've been trying to lose weight with traditional diets, they're broken. We've been trying to think that if we look a certain way, then we can start living our lives, but we put so much pressure on ourselves. So that doesn't help us. We don't understand that weight loss truly is like food. The role of food is these 4 things. And we also have a disconnect between knowledge and thinking. And that's why coming to my pop-up group, where I can spend way more time on teaching you how to think about your thinking and how to solve any problem, is so important. So now what I want to, so that is what we need to do. So we need to redefine the purpose of food. It's a job description. Okay. So as you saw, this is what food is for. That's the job description. That's it. Skills required. That's all we need. So why does this work? Well, the skills you'll develop is when you rely on others for your worth, you will always fall short, because even when they do compliment us, even when they say, good job, we have to believe that we have to believe what they say for us to for it to even register. Because how many people have said, good job, and you're like, yeah, not really. Okay. So the other skill you're going to develop with this is you build your own foundation of belief, which makes you independent. You need to be independently saying, I'm amazing and awesome. Okay. And then the other skill that's developed is that you make goals that you want for you and not what you think other people think you should do. Okay. Because you're like, well, I see that, this person's really successful and it looks like she's doing a lot of this stuff, but you have to do it for yourself. We are not you are your own unique amazingness. Okay. So what is the result that you can expect? We can start living the lives that we want, not what we think other people think we should want. Okay. We can learn to troubleshoot for our own problems, and then we become independent and no longer seeking approval or permission from other people. So let's think about this. So why does this work? So when you go to a wedding and you are not quite at the size that you want to be, what happens at the wedding? Are you constantly pulling on your shirt, on your dress? Are you constantly in your own head thinking, are people judging me? Or are you actually present at the wedding and enjoying it and saying, you know what, I'm doing the best I can, and that's good enough. And people can think whatever they want, but they don't know what's going on for me, and it doesn't matter. Okay. So what about if you're showing up at a family dinner? How are you going to, when you understand that you don't have to be a certain way, when you understand that the job of the food is not for your pleasure, but the actual conversations that you're having with your family is the most important, how does that help you? Really, truly, I want you to really take a moment. I know I'm talking quickly, and so you might get a little but I really want you to take this in, of how different will you show up at a family event when you are not in your head of oh my goodness, they're probably going to be judging me. Last time what size of pants was I wearing last time we had a reunion or an event? They're probably thinking when is this girl going to get it together? Or are you actually going to be able to be present in your family and be able to have real conversations of connection? Because what is the point of a family event in the first place? What is the purpose? It's to build relationships, to create a new life for yourself. That is the point. Because truthfully, do they even care? And if they do, it's on them. It's not none of your business. Okay. And then third, I want you to think, how do you show up differently when you go to a quilting retreat? So I'm hosting a 3-day event. I'm going to talk about it in just a moment at Lisa Bonjean's Retreat Center. And it's literally to teach people to love themselves no matter what size. By the way, you will not create permanent change if you don't accept the body that you have right now. So if you weigh 220 pounds, the reason you weigh 220 pounds is because you created that for yourself. And if you keep saying, I'm terrible, I'm awful, I'm no good, you keep rejecting yourself. You got to accept that you weigh 220 pounds because you're the one who created the body that has 220 pounds. So not until you own that you created that extra weight, then forget it. It's not like you can do some Jenny Craig, you can do some Weight Watchers, you might, and you can do some Noom, and you might lose a little bit of weight for a little bit. But until you understand why you weigh 220 pounds, why you keep turning to the chocolate, why do you keep turning to the cinnamon buns? Until you can realize how you got that much weight, you're not going to permanently change, my friends. It's not going to happen. Okay. So I want you to imagine what would change for you. So this is the part. Yeah, that's funny. I'm like, I knew I didn't change this one slide because I was like, that didn't change. So when you think about this here, I'm just going to go back to here. Yeah, my slide so when you think about learning to trust yourself, not the diet, when you learn the difference between, when you learn to think about your thinking and be able to realize that you can solve any problems for yourself. And when you realize that you are the one to create your own weight loss program. Oh yeah, I did get that right. One process and trust yourself, knowledge and persistence. Oh, I did have it. Sorry. Sorry, ladies. I'm like, I get a little distracted when I go on my, like, you can't change unless you accept where you were at. And you have to create your own foundation. And one of the things that I also wanted to say in this number one that I forgot to say already was, when we are always looking for everyone else's solution, it's like there are certain pieces to every single weight loss that's going to help us. Guaranteed. I mean, people do lose weight. But what I want to tell you is you need to start learning to create your own process. And it's like you can find a process that resonates with you, but then you make that process work. So you go to work to making it happen for you. So, I mean, I'm obviously a great example of how to lose weight and keep it off. I've been able to maintain this weight loss for 2 years or plus. And I actually, talking about podcasts, it's coming out, I think, in 2 weeks. And it's called, I've gained 200 pounds in the last 2 years. I'm sure I have gained 200 pounds in the last 2 years, but guess what else I've done? I've taken it all off. So it's very normal to gain 3 pounds and then lose 2 pounds and then gain 1 pound and then lose 2 pounds. Like, this is how weight loss goes. So over the course of 2 years, I'm sure I've gained 200 pounds. Even this summer, I gained 10 pounds. Well, probably more, but and then sometimes it takes me a little less time to take it off. Sometimes it takes me a little more time. Sometimes it comes off really quickly. It doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So that's our training for today. So I want you to do one process and trust yourself. Okay. And I do encourage you, and there's ladies on here that I see, they've lost 30 pounds, 50 pounds, and they just keep going. It's amazing. Some ladies on here, and they're on here already, they came back in October and they did my first Love Yourself Thin group program, and they have they've learned the process and they've committed to that one process, and they're getting so good at it that they keep taking the weight off and they're maintaining, because they have decided, this is my process. I'm creating it for myself. And that's what I do. I teach you how to do it on your own. I teach you how to create your own I'll go into that in just a moment. So I want you to take one thing from just even this training, write it down, put it on a card. That's what I like to do. I got my cards out here. I've got 5 that are taped onto my computer here as reminders. Make a decision, implement them, evaluate, rinse and repeat. Stop the research crazy frenzy. No, you create your own results. And what's so much fun is when you get a coach like me that helps you see your brain, and you learn this process of learning to think about your thinking and to solve any problem, you can become a rock star. Okay. Because there are times where you are going to gain some weight. You're going to like forget yourself and you're going to get caught up in the moment. You get caught up in Christmas, you get caught up in whatever. And you like, next thing you know, you're like 10 pounds heavier. What do? That's the difference between my people and the people that do Weight Watchers. It's like they make some mistakes, or they don't, not mistakes. They just don't, there's no mistake. It's like they didn't follow their protocol, and next thing they know, they're 10 pounds heavier. So what do you do now? What's your decision? And we can make, you can solve any problem. Okay. So that was the training. So thank you for coming. And now I'm going to share with you how you can make this part of your life. Isn't that fun? How you can be an example of what's possible, how you can become the rock star of your own process. So I'm going to be teaching my Love Yourself Thin process live at Lisa Bonjean's Retreat Center, which is right here. And it's October 18th to 20th. So it's a month away. I'm so excited about it. And so you're going to get the big picture of how to lose the weight and keep it off. And you can attend virtually if you can't be there. Oh, there's the link. Awesome. If you can't be there, if you can't come to the States, and if you can't get away, you can, there's my assistant is actually coming, and she is going to make sure that all the tech, everything works so that you can participate just like you were live. We just don't get to hug each other. That's all. But you're going to be able to participate in the chat. You'll be able to raise your hand to get coaching. You'll be able to be there just like you would be with us. Okay. So I want you to sign up right away for that, because it's going to fill up. Like, it's going to be amazing. And there are 25 beds at the retreat center. Okay. And so I am taking 25 women for the retreat. And so you can have virtual as well if you want. So that is happening. So you can go and you can book your tickets. You can reserve your place. There's rooms where there are 4 people. There's rooms with 2 people, and there are some one rooms. Yeah, we can't wait to see you all there. Right. All right. So you can also, if you want right now, Rochelle, you can put that in the link. You can go over to my, Rochelle will put in the link of, you can actually pay right now. And if you pay right now, I can shout you out on this call, which is so much fun. I love when ladies say, you know what, this resonates with me. This makes sense. I'm going to do this, because there is so much power in making a decision for yourself, and just being able to do that right at this moment, and being able to respond, say your brain is saying, I really love this idea. I really want to do this. And you being able to just invest in yourself in this moment will create such a level of trust in yourself that you're going to really be able to have the results almost faster, because you're starting, well, you will, because you're starting to learn to trust yourself. Okay. So we have another 17 minutes on this call. I would totally encourage you to go over there, invest. If you're like on the fence, I'm going to tell you more about why this is so amazing. So that is, and I'm here to answer any of your questions. And I'm showing you how this Love Yourself Thin process really is the solution for you that you have been waiting for. And the reason why you haven't had the success that you've had, that you've wanted to have, is because you've been missing some parts. So let me just walk you through the Love Yourself Thin process. The first phase that I take you through is weight loss science is simple. And I truly teach you the science of it all. Some of you might have, some of you are on my email list. And if you're not on my email list, there's a 5-day training that you will get every day for 5 days. And it will show you so much of the food, all of that. It's not all on there because I couldn't do it in that amount of time, but you literally learn how to create your very own protocol. And then because you created it with the guidelines that I gave you, you learn to troubleshoot your own food. I'm 6 feet tall. What's going to work for me, and I live on Vancouver Island, is going to be different from someone who lives in California, who lives in Norway, or who lives wherever. And because we have different food accessibility, all of that. And we're all different. We all have different genes. We all have different backgrounds. So that's really huge. So you're going to learn how to troubleshoot that. Then phase 2 is you're going to learn that emotions actually help us, and we don't have to be afraid of them. So why are we buffering? Why are we turning? We don't want to feel emotion, either positive or negative. Like if someone says, oh, I really like that quilt. And you're like, oh, no, not really. Right? Or a negative emotion. It's like someone says, I don't really like your quilt. What do? Do you go and eat something? Do you go buy a bunch of fabric? Do you go like what is it that you do? Because you don't want to feel those things. You actually don't even know how to really work through those. So you go to get that quick dopamine hit, and then you got to keep chasing that. Okay. So then the third part of this, phase 2, is we learn how to take ownership of our own feelings, and we dive, and this is huge, ladies, perfectionism, people pleasing, and procrastination. It's the triple P, right? And this work is so meaningful because so many of us think I'm smart, and all my clients are very successful. They've done very well in their lives. They've achieved so many accomplishments, but it's this weight loss thing that they just can't figure out. And it's like, why does this keep coming up? And why am I spending more money on fabric? Like, what is wrong with me? So the problem is we just haven't learned we just haven't learned the ways to solve problems in a way that obviously is sustainable. And that is why how to solve any problem, that is why losing weight is actually never about the food. It's all about this emotion. This is huge. And then the third phase is that we learn our thoughts create our results. We build self-confidence to make goals. And I teach you how to make goals powerfully. And I teach you how to make goals from your future self in a way that's going to be so beneficial that you don't know why, like, no wonder people don't always accomplish their goals. Okay. So results. So what can you expect from this process? Well, you're going to understand why you are overweight and unhappy with your life. You're going to learn the tools to build a life for yourself. Doesn't that sound like so much fun? And you get to go to like an amazing retreat center with like vintage quilts and comfy beds, and we're going to be hand stitching at night. I have my Twilight Garden, Diana, all cut out, ready to go. You're going to be able to really connect with quilters. And by the way, all the women in my program are all quilters. And if you're not a quilter, we'll still love you. Don't worry. So the result also is that you're no longer going to be a crash test dummy in your own life. And what I mean by this is you are no longer at the mercy or whim of what other people say and what whatever has happening in this world. So COVID, politics, the holidays, none of that is actually going to determine your success. Okay. So how do I guarantee success? Because I actually do have a money back guarantee for my process. Okay. And one of the things that I've really dialed in on with this process is that we have a group coaching component. So you get the $3,000 for Love Yourself Thin process. So weight loss science is simple. You learn to create your own protocol. Emotions are the key to the universe. You learn that emotions are not, you don't have to be afraid of them. And then you get the skills to become a future you whom you love being. So that's the $3,000 process. That is the 3 months you're going to do this. So, but what I discovered that's been so beneficial is that when we're in a group coaching situation, you no longer feel alone. It takes the shame out of weight loss. It's so relatable. You can support each other. You can learn from each other. You can rally with each other. You get ideas from other people, and you learn faster from others. Okay. So beneficial. So now, okay, where am I? Oh, here we go. So you get the Love Yourself Thin process. So the live event. So you see everything, you get the whole picture. Then you get 2 times a week live coaching calls from me until January 12th, 2022. Amazing. And I have a lose 12 pounds money back guarantee. There are 3 simple things you have to do to qualify for that money back guarantee. And that's it. Okay. Now, how to guarantee your success. I'm so interested in making sure that that you can truly learn to get into here to have the success. So another way to really support you in this process is we're having a private Facebook group. So not only do you have group coaching so you can get that, that support and help from others, but you also 24/7, you have access to that group where you can ask me at any time. And when I'm checking my Facebook, because I'm not on Facebook 24/7, that's for sure, then I can answer you and I can support you. And you also can get support from others. You can learn from others, you can rally. And again, you get ideas from what's working, you learn faster from others. So it's my Love Yourself Thin process, live event, 18th to 20th. You can come virtually or you can attend live, which would be so fun. We can eat together and learn together. We can stitch together. And throughout the day, we can really, truly embrace like what's going on. And then you get the coaching calls a week, support you, and all during Christmas, all the holidays. So how to guarantee your own success. I have helped so many quilters lose the weight and keep it off. So we're going to start now. And actually what I'm doing right now is a fast acting bonus. So to show me that you are like all in, you will have access. You actually will have a one-on-one coach for the next 4 weeks. So she has gone through my process. She's amazing. I think she's at 35 pounds. And she is going to the life coach school right now. And I asked her, I said, I really want to like guarantee the success for you all. I'm so interested in your success. And she has agreed to one-on-one coach you as part of the price of the 3,000. So you will get that coaching to support you one-on-one when you sign up now. Like I'm always so interested in your success. So that's another reason why you need to buy right now. Like go and buy so you can get hooked up with one-on-one coaching from her. So amazing. So you get the live event. So if you can come virtually, that's fine too. I know a girl here on here, she's coming virtually and I'm so excited for her. And then you get the one-on-one coaching with a one-on-one coach who has gone through this process and is becoming certified. So she knows the tools, she's learning them so well, and you get a money back guarantee. How else? Oh, there we go. There's the one-on-one. I wondered how I had it in there. Okay. So that the other part, yes, we have the one-on-one, we have the money back guarantee. This is why you need to go over. I'm like waiting for you. Like you got this, like you're going to buy. I want to shout you out on this call. You have, you can, but you get a money back guarantee. Like what is the downside? And I want to hear it. Like ask me any questions. I see you on here. Ask me any questions at all. I'm happy to answer anything for you. All right. So the Love Yourself In process, just put the link in the chat. Awesome. Okay. So the other thing that I have put in this process so that you can learn the Love Yourself In process is so at the halfway point, you get a personal one-on-one coaching session with me where we check in and we see what's going on, which I found is finding very helpful for me to connect with you at that halfway point, because so many of us for weight loss, we get really like wrapped up in the results, and we don't get so focused on the process of becoming a person who loses weight. And so a lot of ladies will like kind of throw their arms in the air and they'll do compare and despair and say, well, this lady got this many results, this lady got this many, and I haven't got as much. Okay. So but that's the kind of stuff we coach on in the group. So you do get that personal check-in with me, and that accountability is huge. Also, the accountability in the group, I'm calling people on it more and more because I know that you've been hiding and that's why you've gained the weight. I have the 12-step perfection recovery program that is so incredible, and you will get a digital copy when you sign up. And then if you come to the live event, you'll get your copy there. And then to help you to keep going, every fourth Monday, there is a follow-up call because I'm 100% interested in your success. Okay. So you've got the live event, October 18th to 20th. So the way that they did the rooms is you obviously will come on the 17th and you can actually leave the morning of the 21st. And so we have the stitching time together. But most important, you're going to learn how to lose the weight and how to keep it off for good. And there's ladies on this call right now who have been so successful. And if you want to just put in the chat, like why you love this program, you could totally do that. And the question I want you to ask, and you can even just call me on it right now. You can raise your hand even, and I can coach you. It's like, why, what is it costing you not to join? So lost 22 pounds. It's been such a great mental refresh. And she's lost 22 pounds just in 7 weeks, 8 weeks, I think. Yeah. 7 weeks. Yeah. So, and the thing that's so fascinating is that you will lose the weight, but it's not just the physical weight that you will lose. It's the mental weight. And there are some ladies that I work with who don't have a lot of actual physical weight to lose. Some of you don't, but there's so much mental baggage that is exhausting, that is so heavy and such a burden to bear. And so in order for you to lighten up, literally, physically and like mentally, these tools will help you. So it's interesting too, because I've been thinking about maintenance, because it's one thing to lose a bunch of weight, and it's actually really exciting. It's really exciting to lose a bunch of weight, and the scale, and it's like predictable, and it's like, woohoo. And it's like, there's a little bit of a dopamine hit there, but it's like keeping that weight off and being able to sustain that and to become that new person. That's also part of what I do in Love Yourself Thin. So if you are someone who has worked with me in the past and who has had success, but is feeling like there's a little bit of stagnation, feeling like you're not able to keep going, any of that, it's totally worth the investment to keep going. Because just like when we clean up our quilting room, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get it so organized. And you find an organizational system and it feels really good and it's super clean and you can stand back and you can be really proud of yourself. Well, what happens? You keep sewing and then your room gets messy again. You have to keep it up. I was in the first group starting last October. I've lost almost 60 pounds and still going down. So exciting. Okay. So Marlene, what has it meant for you? Because you were a Weight Watcher person. Why is this process so different and so beneficial? Like, what has made the difference? Because she made her own protocol. What else? Because she understands weight loss science and she's made her own protocol. So now she doesn't have to run to me every day and go like, what should I eat? What should I do? So many of us want everyone to tell you what to do all the time. That's not sustainable. All right, ladies, I see you and I'm so excited for you. So just so you know, the one-on-one offer is on the table. I don't know how long it's going to be on the table for. When people start signing up, she only has so many spots. So I'm not a high pressure saleswoman. That's not my style, but I do want I want to be totally like on board with you. I want to be able to offer that one-on-one coaching. I want to be able to like have you in this program. I really want that for you. And the only way it's going to happen, it's like I've opened the door. And so you just need to walk in. You just need to take my invitation. and you need to just do the $3,000 and book your flight and or drive or whatever it is, book the retreat center and just do that for yourself. Learn to be just like Marlene, losing almost 60 pounds in a year during a pandemic at a retired age, when so many people think I can't lose weight at this certain age. She's been able to do it because she's been working. She learned my tools and she used my tool, just like an amazing ruler, right? Or just like any quilting tool, like you buy it. Oh, what is it? You're buying the possibility. I love it. Now you need to make it a reality. So buy the possibility. It's going to cost you $3,000. But then now you get to work making what you want a reality because you're going to be working with me. And you're going to have me starting now until the middle of January. Like, what is happening? You get all of that for only $3,000? Like, that's insane. And to have the kind of like the coaching, all of that. And like they love it so much. Like, look at Marlene. Thank you so much. And I remember having that conversation with her. That was a lot of money. It's worth every penny and more. Okay. All right. I'm going to go. I hope to all see you, not only in Love Yourself Thin. It'd be so fun to see you in the pop-up group. I'll take care, everyone. Bye-bye.